What's that in his pants? Alec and Pete, bringing the heat. Alec and Pete. That called Mafia. Bringing the heat. Alec and Pete.
People talking about people.
Talking about people.
So you got that good voice. For those tuning in, you know who it is. It's Alec and Pete bringing the heat. I don't know, man. It's been. Oh yeah, Pete. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I'm good. Yeah, dude, I'm same page as you. It's just been an interesting week.
Well, I'm looking outside. There's snow on the ground. It's like, why are we in New York anymore? The taxes are high. The weather blows. Cuomo's gonna, rape my mom. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore.
Yep. I think the snow thing directly correlates with Jake Paul winning that fight. That's what I've been hearing on.
Wild. We could talk. You know what? I didn't even think about that. We could talk about that. For those that don't know, Jake Paul fought some weird looking. I think that guy's from the Hobbit.
He was a Keebler elf. Yeah, well, related to the guy who's the Dr. Fauci. I think they're related.
Second cousins.
Yep. Yeah, it was the one makes cookies, the other does the chocolate, hot chocolate.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So basically, Pete we actually hung out for the first time. We don't hang out in person, Pete and I. We have enough of each other on the podcast. We try to
strictly business.
Yep. We don't mix business with pleasure. That's not who we are. But I was over Pete's in his crib, pretty nice crib. He's got a great deal on it. And we're in the basement. We're watching the fight with a few of our friends, and it was interesting because, I know a lot of people don't like Jake Paul, but I mean, I was rooting for him over that Keebler Elf looking guy.
Really? Because he was a Disney star.
What show? Are we too old to watch I never remember him.
I don't know if he was on a show, but he was one of those guys. I just saw a video of, would draw the Disney thing in a pen. But I guess he must have been off a show then, right?
Right. He obviously is on a show. Maybe our listeners can, let us know in the YouTube comments, subscribe, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And let us know who Jake Paul, where he was working.
Yeah, where did he come? Yeah,
I mean, TV show.
He's got to be close to 30 then, because if we were watching him as kids and he was like a teen.
Well, yeah, a lot of times the teens. So say when we were kids when you watch Disney shows, usually the kids are a few years older than you.
Yeah, like Miranda Cosgrove was like 20 when we were like,
right.
Fucking.
So I figure he's probably our age, if not, maybe a couple years older. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I could be able to fight.
Pretty cool fight. I mean, not really. Like, it lasted 20 seconds. Pete paid $50, but we'll talk about his funds in a second. It all correlates here. And cool fight. I mean, he knocked him out right away, which was cool. Jake Paul knocked out the Fauci's cousin.
Yeah. The entertainment was horrible. I mean, first off, Justin Bieber, I don't know how he got roped into doing that, but the other people, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we had to actually play our podcast instead of listening to the music for the people that were there because everyone was hating it so much. That's how bad it got. So
yeah, that was kind of rough.
But
COVID times.
But yeah, so Pete bought the fight for everyone, which was very nice, and it's because Pete's doing really well right now financially for the first time since I've known him. And
23 years. Yeah,
23. Yeah, so let's talk about Dogecoin. I know we talked about it last time, but
Pete's strong in the positive right now with Dogecoin. He had a cousin that bought in at like 2 cents. Okay. Now there's people that bought in at 0.008 cents. Okay. Those people fucking went off. If you bought in $1,000 then, you could buy 3 Teslas now with that money. But I bought in at like 14 cents, my average cost. And it popped up the next morning to 35 and then shot up to 42. Yeah. So I bought in like $2,000 and I was positive at the highest point $4,000, but it's sitting right now at like 30 cents. We're thinking
right
it's gonna
now.
pop.
So I just checked. So for those that don't know, we talked about it on last podcast. I said I was gonna get involved in it, and you know what? I didn't lie. I don't like to lie. I got involved with it at the perfect time, 41 cents. So what it's at right now is at 32 cents.
Okay.
My average cost is 39 cents. And
Okay.
yeah, so I'm down like $60. And
Yeah.
it's not bad. That's like, think about if you went to the casino, you lose that in 4 seconds. So
yeah. Well, I went down 700 when I went to the casino, got back up 700 on a roulette table. But this is basically like playing roulette, you know.
You went down 700 blackjack
At a blackjack.
and then you went up on roulette.
I never played roulette in my life. And I was like, okay, let me just toss it in. I took $100 out, last thing I was throwing on the table, and somehow made it up to.
Can you explain? So I've been to a casino a few times.
Yeah.
Can you explain roulette to me and to others that
So
haven't?
Roulette, you've got all those numbers on the board, 36. Okay, numbers.
Is that the game where you spin? It spins the thing.
Yeah. Oh, they spin. No, they spin the fucking ball.
The ball.
And it goes around on the spinning thing. So what you see in a lot of movies. But you've got like 36 numbers, and if you put something down on it, and say you put $1 down, it's 1 out of 36. You put $5 down, you do 5 times 36. That's what you win, because the chances is 1 out of 36 for whatever. Now you can choose the first third, the second third, or the third third of the numbers, and that's you multiply your winnings by 3. You know, so you put $100 down on it's going to be in the second third. It hits any of those numbers, you multiply that 100 by 3. That's $300 right there. And then there's red and black. That's a 50-50.
Right.
So I must have been working the thirds, throwing 50 or 100.
And if you want, you can pick a specific number, and the odds are crazy, right?
Yes, but I think for me, I probably had a bunch of 5 chips or something, and then put them on a bunch of different random numbers. And I think at one point I probably hit my number, and that's 36 times 5. You know what I mean? Just right there. But yeah, I don't, of course I was drinking. I don't fucking remember past that. Like,
oh, so you were in that state.
I wasn't in blackout stage, but later in the night I got to that point.
Is this that Turning Stone?
Is that Turning Stone? Turning Stone, I fuck with Turning Stone. Yeah, Turning Stone's.
It's a nice, it's a nice drive. You get to shoot the shit, and then you get there, and it's just amazing. It makes you want to spend your money.
It does. And the Dunkin' in the morning right outside of the place, smart. And yeah, I mean, it's a full on, you hear about all the stuff they do there. They pump more oxygen into the casino so that people stay awake. And there was rumor that they put more sugar in like Sprites and sodas or something, but I don't know if that's true, but they definitely, the oxygen thing is a known.
I'll tell you the smartest thing they do in all casinos is they don't put a clock anywhere. Because if I was looking at a clock, I would be like, okay, when I see that clock at that time, I'll leave. Because you're not looking at your phone when you're at the table. You can't.
Yep.
So,
yeah. And they always, I think it's something, I heard this somewhere, within every half hour or 20 minutes, they always have a machine, whether it's a massive prize or not, making a loud noise. Like somebody just won. Because they want you to keep thinking people around you are winning money.
Yeah. It's a huge mind fuck. Almost like the mind fuck that you are doing so well with Bitcoin or Dogecoin right now. And I'm down and you're winning. And it bothers me because I'm at a paradox here. I think that's the right word, where I want it to go down because I can't believe you're up so much, but I also want it to go up because I'm in it now. So it's annoying. It's annoying.
Yeah. I think it's paradox. Yeah. Or an in between. Yeah. And in between, you're stuck at two roads. There's 2 roads.
There's 2, Sophie's Choice. Good movie.
Yeah. Sophie's Choice. Sophie's Choice.
Never seen it, but I've heard.
I think it's a book now, but I don't know.
But speaking of books, so what I want to do for the next 9 episodes is just briefly talk about the book that I just bought, and I think everyone should buy it. Is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I know many people have heard of it. And what I want to do is each week, I want to just talk about the chapter I read, the title of the chapter I read, and let's talk about what that means. So basically the first chapter is Don't Try. And basically it talks about this guy that was, I think he was a mailman. He wasn't really giving a fuck. And then he about anything. And then he left that to write. He liked writing, and some guy gave him a chance, and he just kind of wrote some bullshit and he ended up becoming pretty big. Like he's wealthy now, and he didn't really try it ever in his life at anything. And I'm starting to, when I thought don't try, you kept popping up in my mind of someone that doesn't try very hard, but seems to always be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I thought about writing a book myself. I've got a lot to say. But in terms of like, yeah, I mean, even with, school and classes, like massive chem labs and orgos, it's just, I always just kind of, went with the flow of things, and things turn out good, but then things turn out bad. But if you didn't put so much effort into it, then when it turns out bad, you're not devastated. You know what I mean? I don't know if they talk about this in your book. Give us a rundown.
So I forget, did I talk about this on the podcast where I talked about how my grandfather him and his siblings had one pair of socks? Did I talk about this? No. Okay.
I've never heard the
I must
story.
have been talking to someone else about it. So basically the book talks about how these days more people are depressed on antidepressants, going to therapists, than back in the, when our grandparents were growing up and had legitimately nothing. Like they had family and they most of the time had food on the table, and that was it. These days poor people have flat screen TVs, phones, whatever. But in our society, we are more depressed than we've ever been. We're taking more medications than we've ever been.
Yeah.
And yet it doesn't make any sense because, let's say 60 years ago when our grandparents were growing up, or maybe 70 years ago, they had nothing. They had one pair of socks. Like I said, my grandfather had one pair of socks.
Yeah.
And they didn't have medication. They weren't depressed. That's just life.
Yeah. I think what it also has to do with, we talk about social media and everything, but it also, we have too many things. We have too many things going on, too many opportunities, too many feel-good outlets. You know what I mean? So you can go on Marketplace like I do and just buy shit for cheap. You know what I mean? But you can also go on the internet and kind of get your high from there. You know what I mean? We've got too many people are too, first off, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that. You don't fucking deserve anything. If you work for something, you get, but also if you think about it, there's so many people getting money from the government right now that like they don't have to work. They could work at a job, make $500 a week, but the government will give you $400 for not working,
Right. So it's like, why not just work, not work.
Yeah. And we're talking 19, 18, 20-year-olds and like in school, in college, like, and people are just we talked about our generation being soft. It's like the same. It's like back then, dude,
nothing
you
bad,
couldn't be
like,
soft.
Right. Like these days, nothing really bad happens to you. 99% of people, like there's no really real war going on right now. Like back then, like it was common, just like, oh yeah, my brother died in war. Like nowadays, like if that happens, it's a huge deal. Back then it wasn't. Like like, bad things really don't happen right now. So we have to make it seem like bad things are happening.
Yeah. And I get that some people are like, we don't have to get too serious, but I get some people are, have genetic or actual physical things that make them depressed. But then there's also people that just find that it's easier not to feel than it is to deal with shit in life. And so, I don't know, but this Jake Paul thing didn't help anything. This, the Jake Paul thing didn't help.
Speaking of emotion, that was a little serious topic for the for the week. Speaking of emotion, I mean, the weird thing is when he ended that fight, he starts bawling his eyes out like a little bitch, and I'm
like he's been on this path.
Like, dude, you're not fighting for the heavyweight. You just beat up fucking Fauci. Like
some random, It's kind of like he acted like he was. What's that movie about Eminem sings in? Jake Gyllenhaal, the Southpaw. He acted like it was one of those redemption stories or something.
Yeah.
No.
It's like you were a rich kid, and then you learned how to box.
You Doja Cat singing an hour ago. Yeah. Okay. Let me point this out too. Although Doja Cat sucks at whatever she does, the singing was just not. It wasn't even lip singing. It was so much worse. It was there was no attempt.
The fact that they didn't even have their mouth open and then the music's coming out is the wildest thing
so
I've ever
bad.
seen.
Yeah.
And I've seen my dad cook naked, and that was wilder than that. So
yeah.
I
Jeez.
don't know.
Damn. Yeah.
Wild stuff. But
People
here's
bought in. People bought in. I fucking bought in.
People bought it. You bought in. We were all invested into that night, which you told me. I love how you told me it was at 9. You told me the fight's at 9, and I knew that was wrong when I heard it, but I was like, I have nothing better to do, so it's fine.
Yeah, so you just showed up.
We lost half the people that we were
initially started out with. Yeah. And I was like, oh well, I'll just split it, right? Yeah. Just buy it. Nope. Yeah. Nobody, but that's fine. Dogecoin.
Yeah, Dogecoin. You're doing good. Something I wanted to talk about, Pete, and you might actually like this idea. I've a few people I know have gotten DUIs, which we do not promote. Obviously, drinking driving.
Yeah.
I'm very like I don't even bring my car downtown. I'm a loser. I make my parents bring me downtown. Drop me off, and then I figure out how to get home later. I'd rather do that than risk driving.
Yeah.
That being said, I thought of an idea because there's some people like you, Pete, and me and you shouldn't have the same amount. Like you, I've seen you drink 8 beers and you're completely fine. But and if you blew on a breathalyzer, you would be over the limit. Where if I drank 8 beers, I wouldn't be able to walk. So I think when you also take your driver's test, you should also take maybe a second driver's test, and you just drink a beer.
Drunk as shit.
So you drink, so you test it. You drink 1 beer, you blow on the breathalyzer, you drive. Okay, that was good. You drink 2 beer. You do it till you clearly can't drive.
I see. And they set the bar there.
And they set the bar. So on your license says, okay, this person can blow this amount in.
Problem is tolerance changes. So if you took it at 16 in high school, you'd be fine. But then your fucking thing says you took a swig of a beer and then you drove in high school. Let's say it's your first beer, and they give you a 0.05, 0.08. But then you get out of college senior year, dude. You be popping like 0.16. You know what I mean? Still be fine.
Yeah.
But I get that's interesting. What made you come up with that? Just randomly seeing.
Well, I do a lot of as people know, I'm an only child. I do a lot of thought. I have multiple voices in my head. I think it's called schizophrenia. So I'm always talking to myself all day in my parents' basement while I do my job. And my one voice was talking about my friend that just got a DUI, and the other voice was saying, "Oh, let's make it so maybe he or she shouldn't have gotten a DUI." And here's ways why.
I guess I would say it's how you grow up, but like, I guess if you've had somebody die in the family from a DUI, then you just know, even if you're drunk as shit, it's not even a question. Right. But what's like the penalty for, is there a different gauges of how drunk you were? Is it just like, is it jail or is it fining? Like, I don't understand.
I think it depends on a lot of different factors. I'm sure if you hurt if you just hurt yourself, you probably get in less trouble. What you blow on the breathalyzer, I'm sure that number matters for how much.
Yeah, they've got
I don't really know. I hope I never have to know. Because you usually lose your job and everything. And
fuck that. Yeah, that fucks up your life.
But if you're invested in Dogecoin, it's fine. So
yeah. Dude, there's people that are retiring because of Dogecoin, which is ridiculous.
That's my goal. Goal. Like Pete, here's the thing is, to get back on Dogecoin, I know it's a big topic. Like if it blows up like Bitcoin, like say this is, the first year of Dogecoin not being that big, and then next year it blows up and it starts being a currency, because there's going to be multiple cryptocurrencies in a couple years, right? What if this is the beginning of one and we're in it early?
Everyone thinks that, but Doge, for some reason,
why doesn't it have the credibility of Bitcoin?
So
tell me why.
First off, the market cap, like for example, they made an announcement that Doge was more volatile than Ford and GMC stocks like ever. But here's the thing, Doge has there's nothing. So like Bitcoin there's currency behind it. Doge is based off of a bunch of people buying into a stock based off of saying like, let's all just buy into the stock, fucking pump it up and make money off it. Cause that's what you can do.
But there has to be some validity behind it, right? Like there has to be. You can't just make this up, right? And make a stock. Like
you can just make a stock. You can
there's no
say
way.
that you're, well, here's the thing. You can like, they're mining Dogecoin. I don't really know the whole fucking mining thing. You make them more available with the coins, but there's unlimited Dogecoin to be mined. So that's like unlimited.
Where there's not unlimited Bitcoin.
Yeah, I don't think there's unlimited Bitcoin because Dogecoin, it's unlimited because there's no standing behind it. It's kind of like, do you know with the dollar bill that you use in the US, that money is based off of essentially what we say the Federal Reserve is holding to say that that dollar is worth X, Y, and Z amount. Sure. I don't think with Doge, I think Doge will I think it'll hit $1 by 2022, but I don't think it'll go over $10 ever. I don't think but here's another one. Let's toss this out to our group here. Everybody's talking about fucking Safe Moon. Safe Moon is something it's in the works right now. It's basically like Doge before it got put on the stock market. You know what I mean? It's another crypto, but you never know with these cryptos. They're hit and miss. But I've been looking on Reddit. A lot of people talking about Safe Moon.
When can we buy into Safe Moon? I want in on Safe Moon.
You can buy in right now, but you have to download these 2 apps, send transfer to one app, and then download some other data thing
that
offline.
Sounds horrifying.
It's sketchy, but it's like, do you want to be a little bit sketch and apparently put $500 in and you get 39 million shares. So it's that small right now, but
okay.
Could be.
Yeah. I think each week we're going to talk more and more about this and, we're going to look at the market and make sure you guys listen in to see the up-to-date and accurate facts about the market, cryptos. Okay. Big thing I wanted to talk about. Not that big, but not really important.
Yeah.
I had the house to myself last week, as I think we talked about, and my buddy knew this, and he texted me. He still lives with his parents as well, which it doesn't make any sense because he has like one of the better jobs out of all my friends. Anyway, he texts me. He's like, "Hey, can I use your?" He's like, "Can I come over with a girl to use your place to have sex with this girl and then leave? Use your hot tub, drink your wine, whatever."
Yeah.
First I said no. I'm like no, like what?
Like like what the fuck is this?
Like who do you think I am? And then what he did was he peer pressured me, kind of like I felt peer pressure to get in a Dogecoin, even though no one peer pressured me. It was more my brain and you winning, and it pissed me off. But he peer pressured me. He's like, "You're not for the boys, blah blah blah." And I'm like, you know what? You can come over, but I'm going to be watching the movie 42. Shout out Jackie Robinson. Great film.
Great fucking movie.
And I'm going to be watching that with my dog in my room. Don't even come in. I don't even want to know you were here. You could do whatever I guess you want to do. And then you can leave. And so he did that. And he came. I heard him come in. I heard him leave. And he called.
He came.
And
he came,
and he conquered.
Double meaning. Yep.
Yeah.
He came. He saw
and
it.
Shout out Julius Caesar. Vini Vidi Vici.
Yep.
We're not just a podcast for jokes. We're knowledge.
Historical references.
And he called me after to describe it. And I don't think this is the podcast to describe what he said to me on the phone, but maybe on our Patreon, our monthly our Patreon.
Yeah. Was the hot tub a big focus? Was the hot tub not even utilized?
It was utilized. It was actually funny because I used the hot tub the next night and he left the beer cans out there. So that was cool. That was nice. Yeah. Nice little present.
Little present for the boys.
So that was one instance of that. Do you have any? I have another one I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that?
I've got one. I had a buddy that I was living downtown at the time. And so we went out to the bars, talking it up with people. And so he ended up bringing these 2 girls back. Well, we were together, whatever, but we head back and one of the girls was like, dude, I was just chilling. You know what I mean? We were just hanging. There was no whatever, but the friend was all over my buddy. And so I was living with my brother at the time, who was off doing vacation, whatever. And so he comes in, they go upstairs. It was like a loft. They go upstairs and they're just chilling. I'm like, whatever. I'm talking to this girl about like, I don't know if she was Jewish, but we were talking about like the Holocaust or something weird downstairs. Okay. It's just something random.
And Frank, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. And then like 30 minutes goes by. My buddy pops his head over the ledge, sweating like a motherfucker. In his hand is one of those, salad dressing? It's like coconut oil salad dressing packet in his hand, just completely open, just in his hand. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And then the girl pops over. "Hey, what's going on?" Is she
also sweating?
Yeah, they're both naked. Little did I know that they had banged while we were talking about this deep conversation about German and Jewish history or something. And my brother gets home like 5 days later. He's like, "What the fuck is all over my bed?" And apparently he used the coconut oil packet as lube. Just was tossing up the salad with a little bit of salad dressing. That's apparently.
You know what? I like that. And you know what? I'm gonna have to talk. I'm gonna have to just say what my buddy called me and told me about, because it relates to eating, or you talked about tossing the salad.
Yeah.
And my buddy has this fetish. I'm not gonna say if I know people that are involved in this fetish, or where he enjoys his anal, or his butt being licked. Okay, let's just put it out there. Okay.
Yeah.
He calls me and tells me, dude, you're not gonna believe it. He's like, the girl wasn't that great, but she's a 10, and I'll tell you why. I haven't had my ass licked in a long time, but she went down there, and as soon as the tongue hit it, it felt like I was back home. It felt like
That's like the Ratatouille movie. Remember the Ratatouille movie where he tastes the fucking the spoon. Oh my god! And then he imagines himself back home.
Yeah, he was like, I was home. It's like I was gone for a couple months, and I was back home.
Jeez.
And I'm like, stop calling me. Like, I don't care. Don't use my house anymore. Like, I don't.
Oh my gosh. Wait, this was the same buddy that was at your place.
This is the same story. I just didn't tell that last part.
Oh, this occurred in the house.
Yeah, this happened in my house, not in my bedroom. Thank God.
Jeez.
But so this same guy, this is my junior year of college. I'm living in the frat house, and scenario happens where this guy's never lived not with his parents.
So I know this guy?
Yes, and we can talk about it after.
Okay. Yep.
And so we're at this mixer with a sorority, and he ends up finding a girl that wants to hook up with him, but whatever. He's like, he obviously lives at home. I live right above the party room. So he's like, can I bring this girl up? And I'm like, fine. Like it sucks. Like, I hate having, like, not that I want to be for the boys, but having someone have sex in your bed.
More than you were at the time.
More than I am, more than I ever
would.
Like,
it's just upsetting.
It's upsetting for one. Two, I gotta clean the sheets. Like, I don't want to have knowing him, he's a disgusting animal. It's gonna be a complete mess.
I know who we're talking about. Yeah.
That's hard. And so anyway, in my room at the time had a Frank Sinatra poster right above my TV.
Oh my gosh.
The girl must have been a moron. I gotta be honest. She walks in there, and I don't know if they haven't hooked up yet. They're just on the bed talking, and she goes, who's that poster of? And he goes, oh, that's my grandpa.
Oh God. And she didn't say anything about it. She just went with it.
Oh wow. I'm thinking, how dumb do you have to be to think that who has a poster of their grandfather up
above? Yeah, and also, who doesn't know what Sinatra looks like?
It was a prison. It was like his mugshot.
Oh, it was his mugshot. Yeah,
his mugshot, that famous photo. And oh wow, that's cool.
That's a good story, because that's some random ass. But that shows also like the intelligence of the girl that was,
Yeah, I felt bad for her. Not for one, she had to deal with this individual who is just a sick puppy. He's a sick puppy.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he must have had her convinced that was his room. So
yeah, that's pretty. I'm trying to think if there's any other stories. I mean, high school, guys in my frat, would always be in dorm rooms and stuff and be like, oh yeah, I need the dorm, the whole night. But that's nothing like There's nothing quality to that, like these stories.
That's pretty legendary. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, to think of that on the spot though, like,
yeah,
pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty, like, not to just be, oh yeah, that's Sinatra.
Like by yourself too. It's not like your friends are around you to like.
It's just him and the girl.
It's just him and the girl. He's making himself. That's what I love about it. He's just making himself
entertainment.
himself.
Yeah. Damn, that's hilarious. I didn't hear that story. That's a good poster though. We should get one of those. It is a good poster.
I don't have it hung up in my room yet. I think when I move into my own place eventually in like a couple years.
Is it a big one?
I'm like 40. Yeah. I'm gonna hang that up somewhere.
Yeah, I want to get that like painted or something. That's some good shit.
Yeah, it is a good picture. He looks like a stud in that picture, Frank Sinatra.
Oh, Sinatra all time. Yeah, and it's also like, what did he get arrested for?
Well, I think it's a fake picture. So on the
I thought he got arrested.
On the crime where it says like what crime he did, it says like sexual seduction or something like that. Like,
so, oh really?
Yeah. So I think it might be fake.
Okay, let's check this out. I'm just Sinatra mugshot.
Did you know Sinatra was big? He was a big mafia. Does it say that?
Yeah. Yep. So the reason of the rest might be even more surprising. It says seduction. So okay, 23-year-old Sinatra found himself in a situation which he was arrested and booked for seduction. The charge was eventually dropped when it was discovered the supposedly single woman was in fact married. But I guess he was again arrested, and that time was for adultery. So maybe it was like something.
Is that real? That's not a crime.
It says generally applied when a man convinced an unmarried woman of good repute to engage in an inappropriate encounter with him. So back then, I mean, fucking.
I think my dad needs to be arrested. So.
but back then that was I guess like that's like interesting. Like that's like a jaywalking arrest right there.
I have a hard time believing the truth on that, but I mean.
It says it was on Wikipedia. It was in a museum.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
so
no.
That must mean it's true.
This was off of crimemuseum.org.
Oh, that's a
crime library, celebrity mugshots But he had to connect with all the crime people too, you know.
He was big, he got a lot of, I think, flack for, he's supposed to be this like Italian American that is not like the mafia guys that were big back then, because they kind of made Italian Americans look bad. But he would still hang out with them, play for them, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people didn't like that, but what are you gonna do? I mean, they weren't gonna hurt him. I mean, hanging out with mobsters is probably fun. I mean,
yeah, for him, it's like, and he was 23 when this happened.
That's crazy, dude. He's our age, like just like.
Yeah, he was already that big, because it says he said it was a large bail, and he just fucking paid it promptly. Like he was like, I just fucking toss it to them, which is pretty crazy.
But it's funny because so he, a lot of people, I think back then and maybe even now, they might have had a bad look at Italians because of the mafia, and like Frank Sinatra, even though he was a good guy, still hung out with those guys. And and I got a few funny things that happened. So a few girls, obviously growing up, I never thought anything of it. No one in my family is a mobster. Like, Dad, I know he leaves for work at 9 p.m. with a suit on, but I think that's he says that's construction. So I'm sure that's true.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But I never thought anything of, the mafia. I just thought it was the movies and whatnot. But a few girls I've dated, two to be exact, or one I've like dated, she's my girlfriend. The other one I talked to for a long time.
Yeah.
The one girl I talked to for a long time, this is the first time I ever felt like I wouldn't say prejudice or anything. I'm not sure what the word is.
A little bit of
where she told me it very casually, like it wasn't like a big deal. She's like, yeah, it's weird. My mom told me she doesn't want me going out with you because you're Italian. And I was like, I almost chuckled. I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, she says Italian men are just bad guys. She's like,
Jeez. Yeah, that's a little bit. And she just put it on the plate there, like
she's like,
casually.
yeah, and she's like saying it like it's a normal conversation. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, like, hey, do you want any popcorn? It's just,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
listen,
I was
just
like,
so you know.
huh? I was like, what if the girl was like my house. I was like, what if I brought you over my house? My mom says to you, yeah, we don't like having tall girls at our house. Like we don't like.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like, I'm just thinking, I'm
That's
like,
like,
what is
what the
going through
fuck?
your head?
And wait. So this happened with a girl that you dated as well, but you were
Yeah.
dating.
So this also to a certain degree happened as well. So this girl I'm dating, she tells me that. Well, this was funny because the grandma this was a Midwest girl, so
Yeah.
a lot different than the East Coast
The
where
East Coast. Yeah.
and I don't think they have a lot of Italian people in the Midwest, especially in like Michigan.
Probably not. They probably base everything off The Godfather.
Yeah,
They know.
right. And so the when the grandma found out she was dating an Italian boy from New York, she was like, "Oh my God, is he in the mafia?" And like I thought that was hilarious,
Yeah.
Like that's it's just like an old grandma, like that's so funny that she just thinks
But
Italian mafia, whatever.
I bet you in the grandma, let's say the grandma's like 80 or 90. I bet you she was around as a teen or 20s when there was some shit. Well, no, okay. Well, that's a bit back, but Midwest is
I'm
kind of
sure
outdated.
growing up, like she had like but like they're from Michigan, so they just hear on the news, right? They see New York mafia, whatever. Like we're in New York, if you see me an Italian boy, you're not immediately thinking he's in the mafia.
Detroit, Michigan, I think
Right.
had a lot.
This
So maybe
wasn't
she had
Detroit. This is
relatives.
like an
This is
hour
out.
and a half away, like a more of a rural
Yeah, but I'm sure
place.
they had stories close by.
I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Yeah.
then the dad, so hold up. The dad, they're watching The Sopranos. I met them, or no, before I met them, maybe I met them once, and they were watching The Sopranos actually, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And the dad then said to her when I wasn't there anymore, said, watch out, he's, Italian men, how they can be. And she said this to me. I'm trying to wonder why these girls are telling me that their parents are saying.
Yeah, especially if one's dating at the time,
Like if your parents say that, that's fine. Don't say it to me. Just
that's the kind of shit like, oh, we don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, so like, where do you build from that? Where do you go from that? Change your nationality? Like,
I'm just confused. I was like thinking, I said to him, I'm like, why are you telling me this? Like,
yeah, that's kind of
like you're
up.
smarter than that. Just don't tell me.
I would say, I think I've heard for opposite for the like opposite, like gender, like I think dating Italian women is a great move because first off, the families they know how to cook great food. Okay. And first off, Italian genetics, good,
Yeah. I don't know.
Just all in all, I think it's just opposite.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But Italian women are usually very attractive.
Yeah. And I think, and it's just like, I would love for Thanksgiving just to eat a bunch of Italian food,
Right. And not the turkey.
And which I didn't grow up with. I grew up with the piece of American cheese laid on top of the turkey. And just Americans have no food group, or they've been hiding it for everyone else. Just the straight Americans. Just
yeah. I think I don't know if we've talked about before, like if you go to a real like no American house, the food is just not there.
It's all they always think, and I say they, it's me too. They always think that they're the first one to put this combination together.
Yeah. It's like it's a hot dog with ketchup. That's been done.
Yeah, that you cut like legs on. Oh gosh, it's an octopus.
But I do agree that I feel like families will encourage their daughter, son, or their daughter. No, I'm sorry, their son to date Italian women, but I don't think you see it on the flip side.
Yeah.
Which, I guess I can see some negative
in the US. We don't see it that much.
Because
I think if you're in Italy, Italian people want them to date Italian people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that's just.
I mean, my mom, she married an Italian man, and then she flipped that, and then went fully American after that. So maybe she learned something.
So maybe she knows something.
Maybe she knows. Maybe she's hiding something from me.
Maybe she's trying to be on the podcast. Huh. We could get around possibly.
She would
guest
not.
appearance.
I don't think she.
I don't think she would vibe with the stuff we're talking about here.
No, I don't let her listen because she thinks she knows I'm not a great kid, but I don't think she wants to hear my vulgarity all the time.
Yeah.
But,
I wanted, this is random, kind of hops out of our whole thing, but
sure.
What's your take on we both I go to Planet Fitness, you got the gym membership. What's your take on people that take supplements? You know what I mean? Like, do you have any specific because
I don't take any supplements. I do the pasta with broccoli and Parmesan cheese. That's usually my supplement.
Yeah.
But my buddy, he I was over his house last night. He is on a meat only diet. I swear to God, meat and supplements. So you know how some people do only vegetable or like they do no meat. He does only meat. And so we had a few
cholesterol is going to be.
Yeah, I thought it'd be bad. He's like, no, I've been reading a lot about it. I guess there's this book he was telling me about. And
yeah, there's a keto thing, which says if you do a keto diet, you can have I think a full steak with butter all. It's something with, you can't have specific process. I don't know what keto is, but I just know if you're doing full meat, cholesterol, high blood pressure, you're going to fuck yourself over.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, the same kid, I think the meat is messing with his head a little bit because he did text me earlier today and said, yeah, I didn't just blow $30 on this girl's OnlyFans. Who would do that?
Oh gosh.
So he said this is a sad time. So so yeah,
he must be working some serious job.
It might be making him depressed.
Yeah.
Growth
hormones in there or something.
Maybe he's not taking the right supplements.
Yeah. I don't know. Sure. I just remember in high school took creatine for a month to play.
I also took creatine. And
it rips through the water in your body. So I forgot to drink water. I was that kid that would come in with the jug of water, the gallon of water. I forgot to drink water one time, and then I went into the bathroom and fell asleep on the toilet because I was so dehydrated.
You actually fell asleep on the toilet?
Yeah, actually fell asleep and woke up an hour later. Passed out, yeah.
In the stall?
Yeah, and I wasn't even taking a dump or anything. I literally just sat down because I was I need a minute. I just feel really tired. And it was because I was so dehydrated, But that's, that's neither here nor
but
there.
You're like you're like a camel. I mean, you store water.
It kind of just sits in me and stuff. And then
instead of the back hump, you got the front hump.
Yeah, basically. That's it's the thing these days. I keep drinking those protein shakes. I just got the Premier Protein. Yeah. I don't think they're a sponsor. I don't think.
No, they're not. But we're gonna reach out.
We're gonna reach out.
Shout out Premier Protein. We'll do free advertising for you.
Yeah. It's usually a 4 for $10 deal, right? Or 4 for $9. Sure. They're selling them for $1 at the Family Tree. Yeah. So I just got 62 of those today.
You bought 62.
I look like an animal walking in there.
See, you can afford that now because of
for $62. It's a fucking steal. I set myself up for 2 months there.
Did you buy every one they had?
No, they had 200, but I took a decent amount. Yeah.
I might have to go get
this. This is right next to Sam's. Strawberry.
It's the little one, the 20 grams of protein ones, maybe.
Yeah, the cardboard rectangles, dude. It's so good. But I guess if anyone in Binghamton is listening,
you're working out. Are you working out?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Cut down on the drinking a bit,
Yeah. Well, when I was over your house, you only had 4 or 5 beers, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, but that was a weekend.
And they were in the tall glass. So really 10 beers. So really that's pretty good.
Multiplies. We played a game with you over here. I forget what it was called, but we basically you pick who drinks the center cup. We just pour a bunch of shit into. But we had some fun with you. We just kept picking you.
Yeah, it's cool. If you ever play this game, it's called Blowjob, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I've never.
Yeah, I don't think there's any blowing involved though.
There isn't any blowing, so it makes it should have a completely different name. It's when you guys said let's go play blowjob, I actually pulled my pants on and walked over the table, and apparently
they were like, no,
no, we don't want to see that. Just
a bunch of guys in here. Yeah.
Well, it was only guys, and that's why I came to the party. But so I guess what happens is the middle cup's filled with all this shit, and then a person that pretty much picks each time who's going to drink the cup, and they did this cool thing and made me drink, the smallest guy in the room, 5'8", 155, drink the cup. So I had to sober up for 3-4 hours before I could go home. So that was nice.
That was hilarious. Yeah. Jeez.
I was happy.
I think it's called other places, but know.
we should definitely think maybe on the if you guys want to like subscribe and comment different names for that game if you know what we're talking about. We'll definitely bring it up and we'll shout you out on the podcast. So
throw it up there.
We'll
Good
definitely do that. I don't know. I think we're good for this week. I don't know if you had any closing statements. Oh, I'll say this one thing. I was watching that 42, like I was telling you, and the Yankees played on Jackie Robinson Day and they lost, which I think is just blatantly racist.
Jeez. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Who are they playing?
Maybe the Rays or the Blue Jays.
Yeah, nothing.
The Rays or the Blue Jays, but just,
that's fucked up.
Unbelievable. Like on Jackie Robinson's, I don't think it was his maybe his debut or anniversary or maybe his birthday. Yeah. It was Jackie Robinson Day, and you're gonna lose. It's just not good taste, especially in these times.
That's messed up.
I just wanted to bring that up. Yankees are also horrible. So.
I'll be heading up to Boston this weekend, so maybe I'll have some stories for next week.
Really? I didn't know that. We should.
Yeah, I was gonna go see a baseball game, but I was like, "Fuck that! I'm not gonna."
Who are you going to see? Your buddy, your friend?
My buddy, that lives up there. Went to school up there, so I might have a little Boston throwdown.
You bringing the GF or no?
Yeah, GF in summer for friends there, so it should be.
Oh wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Should be a good time, So we will talk about it, and I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll just be you and me, or maybe somebody else.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's looking like just you and me, but you never know. It's a weird world.
If you guys want to hear somebody again, subscribe and comment.
Yeah, subscribe, comment, the whole nine. YouTube. We're gonna be on everything. All right.
Good stuff.
Everyone have a great weekend.